Motion?
I wanted to pull C1A.
Okay. Anything else?
With that, I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, please vote. Okay. Mr. Fox.
Just wanted to check with Nelson about the purchase of the Corona cruisers, 7 of them, and just wanted you to clarify, tell us a little bit about it, but where it's coming from, where the money's coming from. And, whatever you want to tell us about the cruiser itself.
Actually, this is a really
Zero
good
to
item we're
60 and how
pleased to
fast?
talk about. So I asked
ahead.
Brian Champion, he's our transportation manager, to come forward, and he'll give you a brief update about what we're doing with these buses and how it's being funded.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to explain more about our bus purchase. I brought a couple of slides for your pleasure and consideration. Currently, we're using a Chevrolet 5500 truck chassis configured with a passenger box and wheelchair lift. It has a 3-step entrance with a single passenger door. The wheelchair lift is operated from outside the bus. It has a gasoline engine that has been retrofitted to burn CNG. The bus has served us well in its 7 years of operation. In looking for a replacement for these buses, we look for a bus that better serves our passengers and our operational need, and we found that bus in the Eldorado Easy Rider. The Easy Rider is a purpose-built transit bus, meaning that the bus was conceived and built for transit service. It has a rear-mounted engine designed to run on compressed natural gas. It's a low-floor bus, eliminating the 3-step entrance. The suspension kneels to afford curb-level boarding. It has 2 doors that speed boarding and alighting passengers. Both doors have ramps to efficiently board passengers using mobility devices. Our current buses have a service life of 5 years or 200,000 miles. The Easy Rider is a 12-year asset with a minimum of 500,000 miles. Next. Here is the Easy Rider decked out for use in downtown Los Angeles. In considering this bus, the evaluation team toured the Eldorado manufacturing facility in Riverside. We met with Eldorado management and engineers to review the manufacturing process, the paint and finishing process, the testing and acceptance process. The distributor created bus sales arranged for a test drive. We drove the bus along portions of the red line and blue line to determine how it would operate in service. We test fueled the bus at the Corporation Yard CNG fueling facility. This is a shot of the interior of the bus. We test drove the bus for a second time. The City of Redondo Beach, Beach Cities Transit, graciously provided a Eldorado Easy Rider for an entire day. We drove the bus along the full length of the red and blue lines, both directions. We simulated service. We deployed the ramp at several bus stops. Some of the bus features include an automated wheelchair securement area, and that features a self-tensioning wheelchair restraint and lap belt. We outfitted the bus with additional CNG tanks to minimize midday fueling. They're outfitted with methane detection and a fire suppression system, an 8-camera video and audio system, and we've upgraded from a 2-position bike rack to a 3-position bike rack. The purchase is entirely grant funded. We're using several funding sources, state transit assistance funds. We're using Proposition 1B funding. We're using emission reduction funding. We feel that we found the right bus for Corona service, both operationally and for our passengers' needs. And with your authorization tonight, we'll move forward with the purchase, and we should have these 7 buses in service by the end of the calendar year.
Oh. Good.
Anything else?
No, I don't have any more questions.
Jason?
Since you had them out on the routes, did you receive any comments from riders or the drivers themselves?
We had a lot of looks of what another bus from Redondo Beach is doing in service.
They were hoping for a quick ride to the beach?
Yeah, true. I do have to say, tell you a little story. If you recall, in 2012, we purchased 10 buses. We were very excited to get them in service, and so were our passengers and the drivers. When we put them in service, we heard from our seniors that they are very beautiful buses, they're quiet, they're a smooth ride, but they still have the three-step entrance.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult for a lot of our senior passengers to carry bags, as a grocery shop, up those 3 steps. They'll be very happy to see the low-floor bus where they walk right on. And also, we feel that the low floor with the ramps treat a lot of people that have disabilities and mobility devices with a lot of dignity. Oftentimes, if you put yourself in their position, they're waiting at the bus stop, and they know it's going to take 5 to 8 minutes to load a wheelchair. This, with the low floor and ramps, they roll themselves on. We secure them without going outside the bus. We speed up that process tremendously, and I think it gives them a much greater comfort level that we're treating them as graciously as we can.
And do you have the design of the exterior?
We do not. We probably have moved past the flames that our Corona
Thank
Cruiser
goodness.
now has, but we'll work on a design.
Okay.
Mr. Haley?
Yeah, Brian, bus man, he's terrific. A while ago, we talked about the fact that the bus line is now going to be circling around the hospital. Recall that conversation?
Yes.
Okay. Did you try to drive these buses on that particular route? And if you did, how well did it maneuver?
We tested them before on our first ride, and they went well. But we still need to have those infrastructure improvements that the hospital has promised to efficiently drive that route.
Okay, so as a Corona bus man, you're fairly confident that it will work well after the infrastructure's done.
Yes.
Very good. The other thing we were talking about is frequently in the city we use too many acronyms and too much vocabulary that a lot of people don't understand. You said that this is going to be paid for by grant money. In monosyllabic words, what does that mean?
That means that we've applied for funding through the state,
Right?
and we've received grant funds designed just for transit
Right.
to pay for these buses. So, it's
So
not-
this money is not coming out of our general fund.
this money is not coming out of our general fund.
Cool. Good job.
And then did you say the buses were being made in Riverside?
They are really a stone's throw from Corona.
So not only are we getting it funded through the grant funding, but the money is actually staying in Riverside County. Now, if you could get them to move El Dorado on this side, that would be okay too, but at least keeping the jobs here in the Inland Empire, I think, is great. And for those of us going to see Mr. Husing tomorrow, you can remind him that there is manufacturing still being done in the Inland Empire. It's not all logistics. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Do we have a motion for that one item?
I make a motion.
Second.
Please vote.
Good job, Brian.
We should negotiate the move in a